these fair judges as they become qualified in the various areas. What I mean by areas is like you have to have a certain level of expertise in order to judge at the county fair, believe it or not, and state fair as well. So that's what that is about. Another important aspect of our mission is to support youth education here in Caroline County Public Schools. We work with the Culinary Arts Program, the Ag Education Program with Future Farmers of America, and the Caroline 4-H Livestock Show, our club rather. We have provided educational opportunities, especially for the culinary arts students, to showcase skills and providing them opportunities to use those skills, and we then give them usually donations that they can then use that to attend their annual state level competition that these children do very well when they do that competition. We also are providing $200 to $300 scholarships for graduating seniors who are providing or who are pursuing culinary arts careers, and we've done that for 2 years now. We had the pleasure this year of sponsoring 3 Caroline County Public Schools as part of the Adopt a School program of the Virginia Farm Bureau Ag in the Classroom. And we did this in memory of our fair treasurer, Marcia Hayes, who had passed away in August of 2014. Another aspect is promoting opportunities for the 4-H Livestock Club members and the FFA students to participate in various activities that we do through the fair organization. One of the things we like to do as well is we promote the county and we promote the Caroline County Ag Fair. And we were certainly had an opportunity in 2014. We were on the CBS 6 Virginia This Morning show the week of the fair. And then during the fair, NBC 12 About Town came out and did a live interview that was on that show. So we were featured on 2 of the 3 stations in the Richmond area, which was certainly not too many fairs have had that opportunity. We also partnered with Rappahannock Electric Co-op in 2014, and we became part of their Co-op Connections card. But we used that opportunity not only to give persons the ability to, if they came and showed that card, they got buy one, get one free into our fair, but we also were able to have advertisements done through the Co-op Connections program. So that gave us free advertisement, which we're always looking for free opportunities for that. We also work with Virginia Farm Bureau, the Caroline chapter, and they work with providing opportunities for us to try to get the word out to increase attendance at our annual fair as well. Giving back to the community is another area that is very important to us. We continue to do the Farmer for a Day program, which is a field-to-table interactive experience. We had 2 aspects in 2014 of that. We not only had that day at the fair, and this is the group that attended, you see their picture there, but we also had one of the daycare centers who actively came out to the fair garden throughout the summer to participate in that type of interactive experience. We, during our fair, collect cans of food for the Social Services Food Pantry. We have an opportunity, we bring cans of food for free admission, so we're able to help with that need that we have here in the county. And then, of course, our annual Fall Fun Festival, the last Saturday in October, is our give back to the community, as well as we do have some sponsorship from you on that. We appreciate that. You give us $500 for that event. We have approximately 1,000 children and adults attend that event each fall. And then some other significant events for us in 2014, as I mentioned, our longtime fair trustee and treasurer, Marcia Hayes, passed away. And as part of that, the family wanted us to establish the Marcia Hayes Light Fund. And memorial donations were used for that to provide additional lighting for the fairgrounds, which is very important for safety. And the other significant events, we received special notification from you that our funding would be incrementally reduced until it became flat funding in 2018. But let's talk about highlights of the annual fair. That's our major event that we have each year, and it was held July 9 through 12. And we were very excited. Our attendance was 10,500 this year, up from 8,000 in 2013. Of course, you know it's always somewhat weather-driven. We had rain in 2013, but we had pretty good fair week in 2014, so I think that was certainly part of our attendance increase. Again, you know, we are a nonprofit. We do not have any paid staff. It's all run by trustees and volunteers who put in 9,000 plus hours each year to make this event happen. And that's very important. And without that, we would not be able to have this event or the other events that we do have at the fairground. Here we've just got a few pictures of some of the things that are happening, like the overview of the fair. And that was taken from a co-op bucket truck on Thursday night that sort of shows the parking lot and people milling around the fairground, a young man enjoying a pie eating contest, a child learning about baby calves, one of our fair members and all the ribbons she won, and then, of course, the Turkey Hill cow. Just want to comment about the Turkey Hill Company in that they are very supportive of our fair. Of course, they're not located in Caroline, but they promised us another bigger and better cow for 2015, and they're going to bring more ice cream to give away. So we're excited about that, as well as their executive, one of their executive officers came last year, and they're going to come back this year to hand out ice cream themselves. So we get support from non-Caroline people as well. Of course, we are certainly glad that we are recognized in the annual Caroline Progress Best of the Best. And in 2014, we won several awards with that competition, which Best Place to Take Your Kids, Best Day Trip, and then we did win second for local event and Best Kept Secret, which we're trying not to make it be a secret, but evidently it was. People thought it was. And the second part of this is we went to the annual Virginia Association of Fairs convention in early January, and we are in a medium-sized fair category based on attendance, as you see, and we came away with a lot of awards, 8 first-place awards, and you can see the 4 second place and 1 third place. And just want to comment about that in that you can see some of us are there in that picture with all our wonderful ribbons and everything, but our advertisement and our publicity is done in-house, and you see Miss Linda Tate pictured up there, and she is the one who creates these things, our brochures, our flyers, our posters. Very creative young lady, and we are certainly very pleased and blessed to have her as part of our organization, because we don't pay for professional people to do stuff. Again, volunteer all in-house. So we really owe a lot to her for her creativity and everything that she lends to the organization. But I do want to say we do have to toot our horn, because we did also win the fair scrapbook in our television interview where we were the best of all fairs in the state of Virginia. So we were excited. Didn't matter what size you were, we were the best. So we want to tell you that too. Then what are we going to do for 2015? Same thing we've been doing. We're going to continue to seek community and business support, and people in Caroline and the greater Caroline area are very generous and very supportive of the Caroline County Ag Fair, and we're very fortunate for that. We continue to seem to be an attractive venue to people. We're going to have the annual Electric Co-op Gaff and Go Rodeo back at our fairgrounds in March of this year. The Virginia Poultry Breeders Association has their annual meeting and show there. And we have private events. In fact, there's a wedding reception there this Saturday. We're continuing and have already started soliciting sponsors for the 2015 fair. We have had, this is our fair save the date card that has been out in circulation since October, and letting you know the fair is going to be July 8th through 11, 2015. And certainly I do have a few fair members and trustees here tonight, and I always like to take this time to allow them to stand so that they can be recognized for all the good work that they do to and for our organization. And we could be a gang. We all have on fair stuff. So that's part of our group. Again, I do want to say thank you to you, the Board of Supervisors. You are one of our sponsors as well. You're listed in our sponsor information, as well as you have a banner every year at the fair, and we appreciate your support as well. As you know, that is used for our publicity. We do advertise on 2 radio stations, several radio stations, and we get free advertisement on TV and other media. So, and we couldn't do that without your contribution as well, and we do appreciate that. If you have any questions, I would be glad to try to answer them.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Whitaker. Do the board members have questions for Ms. Whitaker? If not, we thank you very much for your presentation.
You're welcome. And think about us in your budget time.
We look forward to the fair this summer.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Akers, I believe, is still working on advisory committee person, so we will give him a little more time with that if that's okay. And then that takes us to the consent agenda. Are there any items on the consent agenda that any board member would like to pull? Any item?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Black, yes.
I just want to pull letter B, please, just to talk about it.
Okay. All right. Are there other items? If not, we can have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented, except for item B. That's A, C, D, and E.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and proper second that we would approve the consent agenda as presented. Items A, C, D, and E. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the motion carries. Okay, Mr. Black.
Yeah, I just every month in our packet, Mr. Chairman, we get the warrants in which how much the county has spent, and I was just wondering if Mr. Cully actually gave me something today. If in our packet from here on out we could get, where it says Board of Supervisors, County Administrator, we could get the budgeted amount and how much we've spent to date to go along with those warrants. That'd be a difficult thing to do. So that way we can kind of keep track of where we are in the budget.
And the totaled one.
Yeah, the total budget.
The short version of the
Right,
one.
yes.
Correct, yeah, we'll be able to include that.
Okay.
And then the second part on that, I think there's another thing in that on page 40 of our warrants. And I talked to Mr. Cully today. There was a $10,000, if that's not correct, a $10,000 vehicle repair that was in there.
That was a transmission for a trash truck. I don't remember, Mr. Sheebles here might know the age of that truck and the mileage. I didn't know that right offhand, but 2003, 260,000 miles.
Yeah, and I going through those, I guess my concern is this, that obviously we're spending $10,000 on, I don't know what the cost of the truck is, but spending $10,000 on something that's 2003, I think we need to start looking at, are we going to start putting in our budget the replacement so that way we're not spending $10,000 on a, because I'm not even sure what the cost or the value of the
Let them know what the replacement cost is.
New truck's about 125,000, I think is the last, or 133. We do have one in the budget, and we are working on looking at replacement costs for various vehicles in this upcoming budget. School buses, police vehicles, trash trucks, things that we do wear out on a regular basis to try to get into a position where we're keeping those a little bit more up to date and recognizing that you're going to, a trash truck's on the road 7 days a week, some of them. Okay. Even when we're closed, we're moving cans and moving things around.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And just the only thing I would add to that is, my understanding is that if they feel that it can be better served by spending $10,000 as opposed to $130,000, I think that was the idea behind that repair. Anyway, right. Okay. Okay. Can we get an approval for agenda item B on the consent agenda?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly second that we would approve agenda item B as presented. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. We have a few minutes. I would like to ask the board if you would, if maybe we could move the closed hearing up. I don't think it's going to take a long time, but where it is on the agenda would probably be quite late by the time we got to it. I believe the one with Port Royal. If there are no objections, we would move that agenda item up to now. I move that the board convene and close. I'm sorry.
I'll leave.
Okay.
I'll take care of it. Mr. Taylor, I move the board convene in closed session pursuant to the acquisition of real estate property contracts and legal exemptions under Section 2.2-3711A3 and 2.23711A29 and 2.23711A7 of the Code of Virginia to discuss the potential acquisition of real estate for the county's water, sewer, and a contract, therefore, with the discussion in an open meeting would adversely affect the county's bargaining position or negotiating strategy.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
been moved and properly second that we would,
I have one question, Mr. Taylor, before we,
okay, question.
is it for acquisition or is it for? Okay, just making sure, okay.
It's moved and properly second that we would go into a closed session under the stated guidelines. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. We will now reconvene the January 27th, 2015 Board of Supervisors meeting. We apologize, we ran over a little bit in our closed meeting, but we are now at the public comment section. Oh, I'm sorry. We need to entertain a motion to come out of
Mr.
closed
Chairman, I
meeting.
make a motion, we come out of closed meeting.
Second. It's moved and properly second that we come out of closed meeting. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. Mr. Thomas, do you certify that we only discuss those things that we went into closed meeting to discuss?
I so certify.
Mr. Black?
I so certify.
Mr. Underwood?
I so certify.
Mr. Akers? Mr. Seeley?
I so certify, Mr. Chairman.
And I so certify as well. Okay, that takes us to the public comment section of our agenda. This is the section of our agenda where citizens are allowed to come and speak to the board on any issue that's not a public hearing. If you have concerns that you would like the board to address, or if you have an opinion that you would like to express to the board, you may do so at this time. We ask that if you come, or when you come, you state your name and your voting district if it's applicable, and we ask that you make your comments directly to the board, not individual board members. Thank you.
Good evening.
Ms.
Nice to see
Carlson.
all of you again. Nancy Carson from the Mattapon District. I come before you to thank you all for the motion to eliminate further consideration of the zoning text amendments 06 through 10 regarding the proposed construction, demolition, debris, and limited commercial landfill, specifically the Caroline Recycling LLC, CDDLC landfill, and not allowing it to come at the proposed site that they were looking at. And we would like the board, I'm speaking on behalf of the Mattapon Ruitans. I hope you are in receipt of a letter that we had sent to you all. Our secretary was supposed to send to you all regarding that the Reedy Church Ruitans were in opposition to a landfill like this coming to the county. I hope you have received it. But we would like the board to be cognizant of the fact that I do not think that this company is going away. Even though you have put the motion in order, they've spent too much money. There are 38 other possible sites in the community where this could come back to haunt us. So I hope you will be on the lookout for them to come back, because I know they even tried to approach a Chamber of Commerce meeting last week. So thank you all for looking out for Caroline County and looking into the wishes of the people of the county. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Carson. Is there anyone else who would like to?
Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you. My name is Sean Kelly, by the way, Madison District. Number one, I'd like to thank you for meeting with the school board tonight, and I know we, every year, got budget issues, and I'm sure just like every year, we'll work through it and find a way to keep our schools open. The reason I'm here tonight, though, is not as a school board member, but as a citizen of Caroline County, and specifically the YMCA. I am not a member of the YMCA. But the reason I'm here in regards to the YMCA is because the other day I went driving around with some friends on Durrett Road, and it is not paved, which to me I think is a little bit alarming, considering that everything else is paved in that area. I think that potential homeowners that come in and view this area, and we all know that that's, more people we get, more tax dollars we get, more businesses that will come here, they'll pay more in taxes. I think we accomplish a lot more if we work together instead of working against each other, especially on the YMCA. It is here. It is not going anywhere. We are partially responsible for keeping the doors open on that place and helping out them so they can help us. I think it would go a long way if we could pave that road. I'd like to see it paved all the way to Lewis and Clark, to be honest, but at the very least it should be paved over there by the YMCA, because if, again, potential homeowners come in, drive around and they see that, the roads are not very, that road's not very good when it rains, let's just put it like that. So I'd like to propose that to you guys, and that's all I got to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. Anyone else wanting to speak at public comment?
My name's Stephen Anstead. My family owns the property that was immediate to the north of the proposed landfill. Spoke to Mr. Underwood at a meeting over in Dawn, and I appreciate you listening to me ramble on. I appreciate the vote. I had left the meeting, and every meeting I had gone to, it was trouble for me to sleep at night simply because it was so upsetting. Then my stepmom texted me and told me the good news, and I still couldn't sleep because I was so excited. So I appreciate you guys doing the right thing. God bless you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else who would like to speak?
Good evening. For those of you who don't know me, my name is George Spinner, and sometimes, much to the chagrin of Mr. Thomas, I live in the Mattaponi district. I came up here tonight to also thank you for voting down the text amendments for the landfill changes. I live approximately 500 feet from the proposed entrance to where that landfill would have taken place, and besides just the environmental concerns, also the road concerns were important to me. So I just wanted to say thank you all very much for that, and just let you know that the people, you know, I'm glad that you all listened to what the people had to say on this matter. You all have a good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Spinner. Is there anyone else who would like to speak at this time?
Yes, my name is James Baker, live in the Mattaponi district also. Just wanted to come here tonight on behalf of my family and myself to say thank you for hearing our voices and voting down the proposed text amendments in landfill. And thank you for having a better vision for Caroline than being someone's dump. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Baker. Is there anyone else?
Good evening. My name is Clay Forhan. I'm in the Madison District. Two items. First, again, thank you for the vote last meeting regarding the landfill. I don't think it's the right type of industry that we want to attract here. Other item is regarding the upcoming amendment for the Ladysmith Village proper zoning.
Okay. That's a public hearing, and you will be allowed to speak on that at the time.
Separately.
Yes.
Okay. I'll reserve those for later then.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak regarding any issue that's not on the public hearing? Any other individuals wanting to speak? Last time, any other individuals wanting to speak on the public comment section of our agenda? Seeing no one with the desire to speak on any issue, I will now declare this public hearing section of the agenda closed. That takes us to our first public hearing, consideration of renovation of a special exception 01-2013 Beverly Run LLC owner, Veritas Adolescent Services applicant, Abundant Life Academy Boarding School. Mr. Fincher.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, your first public hearing tonight is a public hearing for the consideration of the revocation of SPX 01-2013 Beverly Run LLC owner, Veritas Adolescent Services applicant, also known as Abundant Life Academy. As the board is aware, you previously granted a special exception permit for Abundant Life Academy for a boarding school at their location at their current location. The board had received a number of concerns related to the operations of the facility and whether or not the applicant was complying with the conditions that were approved by the Board of Supervisors. I believe Sheriff Lippa addressed the board concerning a number of incidents they had at that facility, and the board voted to have a public hearing tonight for the consideration of the revocation of their special exception permit. The public hearing was for consideration. For the record, notices were sent to all parties. However, I inadvertently made a mistake with the notice sent to the actual property owner. And while the property owner and all the representatives are aware and have indicated they understand the board may act tonight, staff would recommend that the board continue the public hearing and we rescind those notices to address that issue.
Thank you. Are there questions regarding the public hearing before it's open? Are there questions? Seeing no one, I declare the public hearing of Special Exception 01-2013 Beverly Run LLC, Abundant Life Academy Boarding School, open. Is there anyone who would like to speak regarding this special exception? State your name, please, and your voting district, if it's applicable.
Yes, my name is Nina Powell-Fogg. I am a property owner that's adjacent to Abundant Life Academy, Bowling Green District. I'm not exactly sure that I understood what this gentleman said. Are you all going to bring this back to a vote, or are you all going to be prepared tonight to revoke their special permit?
At this time, ma'am, we're going to listen to the comments of the public hearing.
Okay.
And when they are finished, then the board will make a determination.
Okay, well, in light of the notice that I was sent, like I said, I've lived at that property for the last 27 years. This last business, Abundant Life Academy, that has been housed there, I'm glad they're gone. I hope that you all do revoke their special permit. I do not think that it's just a feasible type of facility for that area of Caroline County. Anyway, I brought references, but I don't think that I need them, but I'm in favor of them not, being allowed to continue.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak regarding this matter?
Good evening. Charles Albert, also in the Bowling Green District. I also have property that's adjacent to the Abundant Life Academy property, or the Beverly Run LLC property. I'd like to echo Nina's comments here. These guys have not been the neighbors that they told us they would be. We've had several issues with trespassing. I'm not sure what all Sheriff Lippa has told you all, but I've had several rather coarse conversations with the sergeants on call in the evening, reference our neighbors just arbitrarily coming onto our property. They have done some damage to some of our rear fields, and never once have even bothered to notify us that they are coming onto our property, even though we've asked repeatedly for this. Another thing that I'm not sure anyone on the board is aware of, other than Mr. Silly, since I talked to him last night, is this is a school for troubled teens, yet on several occasions we heard gunshots coming from the property, and not just a one or two shot from a shotgun from an errant hunter. Now, this was target practice, okay, both pistol and rifle caliber. Now, the rifle caliber was probably only about a 22, but the pistols were definitely the full gambit of pistol. I know this, I own a firearms store, so I'm pretty confident in my ability to determine what kind of gunshots sound like. And out where we are, even if it was a hunter on a property on the far side, the shots, the sound that was coming from it, it was pretty obvious these things were being fired on that property. So it begs the question, once again, what's going on in there between the assault issues that they've had and some of the other problems that they've had. obviously this organization does not need to be here anymore. Now, with all that said, I am concerned about just immediately revoking their permit without taking a closer look at what the legal implications might be for the county, especially if we look at a potential lawsuit, which ultimately may drive up my property taxes and yours. So just make sure you guys look at the entire picture here before you just arbitrarily make a decision. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else who would like to speak regarding this matter? Is there anyone else who would like to speak regarding this matter? Finally, is there anyone else who would like to speak regarding this matter? Seeing no one with the intent to speak, I will...
Mr. Chairman, you want to close the public hearing or not close the public hearing? Could we have a little discussion before you make that decision?
Okay, we'll do that. Okay, we will have a discussion prior to closing the public hearing. Mr. Thomas?
You want to close the public hearing?
We're not going to close it. We're going to continue. You said continue.
Yeah, that's why I said.
Okay, all right. According to council, we need to close it and advertise a new public hearing.
But are we going to have sufficient time for our February meeting if we do that, Mr. Fincham? No. We don't have time. We can, Mr. Emerson, we can continue this public hearing.
And re-advertise. So resend a notice to the property owners.
Which would comply with
it's only the property owners, because you don't have time, if you don't have time to advertise another public hearing, you can't really comply with the public hearing requirements. But you're telling me the ad was correct for tonight?
The only issue was the notice to the property owner. The ad's correct, the abutting property owners are correct, so I can correct the notice to the property owner and meet the continued public hearing.
So, on the advice of council, you're saying we need to continue the public hearing to our next meeting, and then we can vote on it. Okay.
Which would also allow staff and the county attorney to prepare the facts relative to the potential revocation.
Let me just say, I think it is clearly the consensus of the board that this is not a good use for this particular property, especially for this particular group that's there now. The only reason that we are even considering continuing it is to satisfy a legal concern. We don't want to vote to discontinue it or end it and then have legal action come before the board as a result of that. Mr. Emerson says that we need to continue it and then we can take a vote at our next meeting. He is the council, so I mean, it goes without saying that's what we pay him for. So if he says continue it, my thing is we need to continue. Any, Mr. Thomas?
Mr. Tower, I appreciate you giving me the floor, and there is no doubt in my mind that revoking this permit is the thing we should do. I felt that we gave them a fair shot, even though they had a history of problems in Utah. They coerced the Planning Commission to shorten the time frame so they could come back. They got approved, and I did not want them to come here and say, you know, we're fixing the security problem, but when I saw the video on Channel 6, I agree with the owner who said the county needs this kind of business. We need to help troubled youth. We need to do all the things we can. But when I saw them beat those kids on Channel 6, they need to be gone immediately. I would love to vote right now, but I will be happy to wait 2 weeks to vote to revoke their permit. Especially since they never bothered to get a county business license in the 2 years they were here.
Agreed.
They violated enough. So I'd like to vote now, but I will wait Not happily, but I'll wait.
Okay, motion is in order to continue.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we continue this this public hearing until our next board meeting on February 10th.
Second.
Been moved and properly second that we would continue this public hearing until our next board meeting. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Okay, that takes us to agenda item 6, agenda item 5, rezoning 03-2014 NNP 4 Ladysmith LLC owner applicant request an amendment to modify existing zoning proffers, RZ 6, 2002, including but not limited those related to site layout, transportation utilities, cash payments, neighborhood types and ratios and amenities, and to modify the general development plans for the undeveloped portions of Ladysmith Village. Further identified as tax map number 52A2, 52A16, 52A23, 52A24, 52A27, 52A31, 52A32, and 52E1-A1 through L, 52E1-1-1 through 122, 52E1-2A1 through C1, 52E1-2M through Z, 52E1-2-123 through 235, 52E1-32A through 2N, 52E1-3, 236 through 344, 52E1-4-A and B, 52E1 4-345 through 359, 52E1-5-A, 52E1-5, 360 through 368, 52E1-6A, 52E1-6, 369 through 374, 52E1-7A through H, and 52E-1-7 through 375 through 447. Request a rezoning from planned residential development to planned mixed-use development on tax map number 52A33, 52-2-2, 52-2-3, and 52F1-1 through 70, and 52F1-1A through 1, further identified as South River, to incorporate South River into Ladysmith Village and have it governed by the modified proffers above. The combined density for the two development projects, 3,170 residential units, will remain the same. The property is located within the Madison voting district. The 2030 comprehensive plan identifies this area as being located within the Ladysmith community plan designated as planned development. Mr. Fincher.
What he said. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, your next public hearing tonight is a requested proffer amendment by Ladysmith LLC to amend the proffers associated with the Ladysmith Village zoning as well as the South River zoning, which was get the correct reference for you here. I believe that was RZ 2003. Anyway, in a nutshell, and you have my staff report in your packets. You also have the latest version of the proffers as has been discussed with the applicant, reflecting discussions with Mr. Shebel at Utilities, as well as addressing or attempting to address some of the issues that have been brought to my attention by members of the board. In a nutshell, you have two different parcels of land. You have South River, which was originally zoned as part of what was collectively called Madison Village. It was the property that was owned formerly by Congressman Owen Pickett and his family. And back in the early 2000s, the board approved 3 rezonings for what is now Pendleton, the South River project, which was 320 units on the north side of 639, as well as Madison Town Center, which was the commercial piece right at the intersection of 639 and Route 1. After that project was approved, Ladysmith Land came to the county and got the project approved known as Ladysmith Village. After that project was zoned, the owners of Ladysmith Village also acquired the South River project from Congressman Pickett's family to incorporate that into the Ladysmith Village zoning. The proffers tonight are designed to incorporate that project into Ladysmith Village and basically to amend the proffers to cover that entire project. You have my staff report. Generally addresses the changes to the proffers. Excuse me. I'd be more than happy to address any specific questions that the board may have. And I realize some of you are seeing the proffers for the first time, so there is no expectation that the board will act on this zoning tonight.
Okay. Do board members have questions for Mr. Fincham prior to the opening of the public hearing?
I just have one, since Mr. Kelly is concerned about that. The Durrett Road, the phasing, can we just kind of explain, I mean, because it's the company that has to pay for the Durrett Road eventually. So can you explain that?
Yes, sir. Under the current zoning, the overall development plan speaks to and includes the redesign and reconstruction of Durrett Road. However, there is no specific time as to when that improvement has to occur. The revised proffers would develop a phasing plan which would address sequentially when those improvements would occur to Durrett Road within the confines of the property that they own. There's certain part of Durrett Road that is off-site and not subject to the proffers. Proffer Proffer 4, and if you go down to F, addresses the phasing, the 3 phases, the 3 potential phases for the improvement to Durrett Road. Phase 1 would involve paving from Founders Park back to the end of their property. Phase 2 would, on page 7, would include the submission of design for 4-lane road, addresses the acquisition of property out to Route 1, and then Phase 3 addresses if 4-laning is required based upon a VDOT traffic impact analysis, that they would 4-lane the road from Route 1 back to the end of their property beyond the YMCA.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, and you may not know the number, if the county had to pay for this, if the county had to pave Durrett Road, how much would that entail? What would be the cost?
I'm going from memory. My last recollection was that the cost of that improvement, which was basically just pave in place, so the current narrow gravel road, was somewhere around $220,000, and that was some years ago.
So just to pave it as is, 220?
Pave in
Without
place would
improvements.
be in excess of $200,000.
Okay.
Mr. Thomas?
Thank you.
Mr. Fincham, on the original proffers that we had as part of our board packet, on page 4,